Coming to you from the TCT studios in the heartland of America. Truth shouldn't be complicated, but these days it often is, where faith, culture, and real issues shaping our world converge. Today, we cut through the noise. Welcome to Frankly Speaking.
Greetings, friends. I'm Frank Amedia, and I can only be frank. Well, yesterday, we heard the remarkable testimony of Yair Pinto and Anna Pinto, a young Israeli family enduring the unthinkable realities of war, uncertainty, separation, constant danger, but while somehow maintaining hope, courage, humor, and an unwavering faith. But there was another powerful truth that was woven into Yair's story that deserves this special attention. It is something many of us eventually discover in life, though often only through hardship. Our plans are limited, but God's purposes are far greater than we can see in the moment. Yair shared that through years of terror attacks, military service, instability, and especially since the horrors of October 7th, that he came to realize that many of his own ambitions and carefully arranged expectations could disappear in a single day. In times of peace, we can often imagine that life will unfold according to our schedules, our dreams, our timelines, yet suddenly war arrived at the doorsteps of the families across Israel, and everything changed. And yet, in the midst of that darkness, God opened a door. What appeared at first to be destruction became direction. What looked like interruption became calling. And what seemed like chaos became opportunity for purpose. Yair found himself stepping into a role of journalism and communication that allowed him to tell the truth and encourage people around the whole world and shine light into confusion and misinformation. He realized that sometimes God permits the shaking of our plans because He's establishing something greater than we would have chosen for ourselves. Now, how many of us can testify to that very same thing? There are moments when life does not unfold according to our expectations. There's a sudden illness, a financial collapse, a broken relationship, a lost opportunity, a closed door, a bad diagnosis. How about a season of loneliness and uncertainty? It's in those moments, it is human nature to ask, Lord, why is this happening to me? But only later we can look back and see that God was not abandoning us. He was redirecting us. And the scriptures remind us over and over that the Lord specializes in bringing us purpose out of pain. In Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21, we read, "Many are the plans in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord shall stand." And then in Jeremiah chapter 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Now, sometimes that future does not arrive all wrapped in a beautiful comfort box. Sometimes it emerges through trial, pressure, uncertainty, perseverance. And the Apostle Paul wrote in Romans chapter 5, "We glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation works patience, and patience experience, and experience hope." That hope becomes an anchor for the soul. Now, Yair discovered something that believers throughout generations have learned. When everything temporary is shaken, the eternal becomes clear. When human confidence fails, dependence upon God becomes stronger. And often the very season we would never choose becomes the season that shapes our destiny. Perhaps you're listening today and your own plans have fallen apart. Maybe the future you imagine no longer exists. Maybe you're weary from fighting battles that seem unending. If so, take encouragement from this testimony. God is still opening doors. God is making a way where there seems to be no way. God is still able to turn mourning into purpose and confusion into clarity and struggle into a powerful testimony. The scripture tells us in Isaiah 43, "Behold, I will do a new thing, and now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desertness. And in Philippians chapter 1, he which has begun a good work in you, he will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. So hold on. Believe even when circumstances seem uncertain. Push through the fear. Continue praying when answers are delayed. Continue trusting when the path is unclear. Continue standing when others surrender to despair. Keep on keeping on, because God often does his deepest work in the middle of your hardest season. And as you continue listening to this extraordinary conversation with Anna and Yair Pinto and my wife Laura Lee and I believe you're going to hear more than simply a story about survival in wartime. You're going to hear a testimony of endurance, faith, family, courage, and the undeniable reality that even in humanity's darkest moments, God is still at work. We're going to join part 2 of this wonderful time together just after this message.
As usual, TCT partners have stepped up in time of need. As missiles rain down, the bomb shelters you helped provide are serving as a safe place for the men, women, and children in Israel. Now we bring to your attention another crucial piece of life-saving equipment needed to save lives in the Jewish state. Magen David Adom handles all ambulance and rescue services in the state of Israel and is funded almost exclusively by donors. They are in need of metacycles that are used as ambulances on 2 wheels that can get life-saving treatment to individuals much faster than traditional rescue vehicles. TCT has committed to providing one of those metacycles, and we invite you to partner with us. Join Christians across the world who stand with TCT as we stand with Israel. Please send your very best love gift to help us provide this desperately needed metacycle to save lives in Israel. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
So, you know somewhat of what we're planning on doing. You know me well. We talk. We're pretty excited. You know, we're hopeful that friends like yourselves and others that we have there make sure they guide us to go the right ways. And we're going to be sharing a lot of content here with our people and what we're doing in Israel and how it affects things around the world. What would be your suggestion right now for us at TCT?
Well, I would say is that the best way to do something that's way bigger than anything that you plan is to give it all to God, okay? So this is something that I learn again and again, because God is very patient with me, teaching me, remind me again and again that all my plans, dreams, ambitions for my life are nothing compared to what he has stored for me. So for me, in this past time, if you would ask me like 2 years ago, would you have, this ability to share and so many people tuning in, understanding, listening, praying, I would say, get out of here. There's no chance this will happen. And God turned the most difficult time in my life and opened an amazing opportunity to share his love. Yes. And you learn again, it's not about you. It's not about us. It's about what he has planned for your life. So the only thing that we need to do, and you need to do in TCT, is pray, have a personal relationship, and I know you do, and then take one small step, a leap of faith into what God is telling you to do, even if it's not popular. And we know that talking about Israel now, even in America, even in like conservative circles, is becoming unpopular. But we do not need to look for, the metrics of the world. We need to look at what God is telling us to do, and then he will open the doors, and he will have our backs against whatever challenge is coming against us. And I'd rather have God on my side than a million, other people on the other side.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
Absolutely. Well, from our very first time that we met, Laura Lee knew about my heart and our calling for Israel. And of course, she married into that. That's where our honeymoon was. As poor as could be, our pockets turned inside out. I don't think we had $100 in our pocket when we landed in Jerusalem. By the grace of God, somehow we were fine. We said our vows to each other. You want to share that?
In Getty, we had the Song of Solomon, and we had planned that we were going to speak to each other, but he hit his head on the cave. He forgot about that. So he's like going through the caves.
I cracked my skull. It was bleeding.
Wow.
Literally cracked it.
So he's reading with blood, blood dripping down.
The blood covenant.
But it was really a special time
Wow.
to be in Israel. Where else in the world do you want to be?
We were as poor as could be, but we were in En Gedi and exchanging the songs of Solomon with each other. And it really bonded our covenant.
Yes.
And of course, she conceived a child in Israel. And I'm surprised she didn't have one in Israel because she was 8 months pregnant when we went over.
They let you go on a plane at 8 months?
I had a Jewish obstetrician. And he said, they have the best doctors in Israel. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Wow.
Plus, it was the first one. And Michal, that's why she's so strong. She was almost born there, but she waited till we came back to America.
Yeah. So we're pretty excited about what's going on. We certainly thank God for our relationships with you, with Mati and his wife, with Shmuley, who you know is my little brother. We feel like it's more than just a relationship to try and pursue things. It's a relationship of bonding families together. And we want you to know it's like a Ruth and Naomi thing with us and you. When you hurt, we hurt. When you're anxious, we're anxious. When you're in a situation, we're in a situation. And we too have our sleepless nights as we're praying for people there. I mean, at the time of this right now, who knows? By the time we air this, there could be an action going on in Iran. It sure looks like that's coming that way, a big one.
We're still hoping that we have a flight back home.
Yes. Well, if not, we invite you to Ohio. We have a big house.
We'll take it.
You come. We have a studio.
Yeah.
So you can do your studio work.
That's true.
And the
My
boots
house
on the
is your
ground.
house.
Thank you.
The boots on the ground will be a cow pasture. And for the camera, here's what you do with the boots on the ground in the cow pasture. You know, you don't want to bring it in the house. And we'll have some fun with you. We're going to be doing launching a program here on TCT called God, Country, and Cowboys. And you told me there are cowboys in Israel.
Yes, we do. We have cowboys in Israel that have been, herding, herding cows.
Yes, cows.
While the rockets were falling, while terrorists are on the other side of the border, because most of our cowboys are either in the south or in the north, on the border with Syria, with Lebanon. But I mean, this is Israel. Life goes on. We are always planting for the future, despite being all the time under the targets of these terrorist enemies that want to destroy us. And I think this is actually a very good reason to share with all of you why it is important for you as Christians to stand with Israel. Let's go to the roots of it, because what was Israel's purpose in the biblical times? Okay? God picked the people of Israel not because they were faithful, not because they were doing a good job, but because they were stubborn, they were always doing their own thing, because they were hard people, to show the world that He is faithful to them, not because of them, not because of us, we're not special, but because of Him, okay? And then He used Israel to show to the whole world that He is a faithful God, saving them from slavery into Egypt, bringing back into Israel. Then again in 1948, the rebirth of the modern state of Israel. It's an amazing modern day miracle. And now, again, after October 7th, 7 different enemies launching attacks against us. We are here. Economy is booming. God is acting, and He's using Israel the same way He used it in the past to show all of you He is a living God, faithful. And if He's faithful to these stubborn people, us, the Jewish people of Israel, He will be faithful to each and every one of them with whatever it is that He's doing. So be encouraged. Look for Israel and stand with Israel. And that's why I love that TCT are going to do more programs from Israel. And it's going to be meeting the actual people on the ground, understanding the culture. Because pray for the peace of Jerusalem is not pray for rocks. It's not praying for this mystical place that you see or imagine in the Bible. Actual people, good, bad, human beings. That's what we are. And God loves us. He loves you.
And I'm so excited for that. I can't wait.
It's got to be fun. I want to go on a horse, ride with the cowboys.
Put you on one.
You're coming with me?
Oh, yeah, let's roll.
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe we'll do motorcycles while they do the horses.
We can do our
good.
line
We'll do the
dance.
horses. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a cowboy hat also, by the way.
Yeah. I'll bring you a cowboy hat.
Put it in my contract.
I'll bring you a cowboy hat. Yeah, I've been around a little while. You're young puppies compared to me, but I'm not too old. And I've actually lived through some of the prophecies. I remember when I was in Israel and they were going to break the gates of brass. And that was in what was the former Soviet Union. And they were calling for some people to go. And my wife said I should go. In 85, I found myself in the Soviet Union. I got arrested right off the bat. And we broke the gates of brass. We prayed through there. We brought comfort to Isaiah 40, comfort you, my people, to refuseniks. And some of them got out. Evgeny Lean came to Tel Aviv, his son. And so I saw the gates of Gaspar. I saw when he said, I will sell fishers and hunters around the world, and they'll begin to bring them in. And so we became part of the movements, even to bring the Ethiopians in, which happened. And, who would have thunk such a thing? These beautiful black brothers and sisters who had a form of Judaism but didn't really know what it was, right? And most people don't know when they landed in Israel, the rabbis made them go through conversion because what they brought, they did a different form of Judaism, and they became fierce warriors. I remember my friends telling me that what warriors they were and how often they were. We lived through that with them.
Yeah.
We lived through so many different prophetic movements of God with Israel, and there's some more happening. And the Bible's alive, and the voices of Isaiah and Jeremiah and Zechariah. I firmly believe the fountain of David opened up on October 7th to Israel. I'll share that another time. And that fountain is just pouring now in Israel, but the whole world is getting blessed by it. And you're seeing some I don't want to call it revival, some awakening in a younger generation that's waking up, whose families didn't even take them to worship, are going to worship. They're finding things in the universities here in this country. Yeah, you see those that are marching and they don't have a clue what they're saying. What you don't see is the young ones that are saying, I don't want a part of that. This is better. And it's happening in Israel now too. There's an awakening going with the younger. So we're living in an exciting time. We're living in a time where gross darkness is covering the earth and gross darkness in the people. But at the same time, the light of the glory of God is shining. And Romans 11:25 is true. And I want to close with this one. And it says, be ye not ignorant. Do not be ignorant of this mystery unless you're wise in your own conceits. Let me translate. Unless you're stupid in your own dumbness, that blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles comes in, and then all Israel shall be saved. What's the fullness? It's quality and it's quantity, and it's coming in. And as it's coming in now, you're seeing it's going to pour out for all of Israel. And so I want you to understand that this is the role you play no matter who you are. This is the time we're in. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. There's people for 2,000 years wanted to live in the time we're in. The disciples were waiting for Yeshua to come right back during their lifetime. They wanted to live in this time again. The prophets talked about it. They wanted to live in this time again. So many pastors, Pentecostal, charismatic, rabbis calling forth for this time. And here we live in it. So what are we going to do in the time we live? Whatever we can do. Anna, one of the last words. Go ahead, honey.
One of the last words.
Yeah, say it to the camera.
Thank you for having us. And I can't wait to see you in Israel. It would really be a blessing to meet you. And it's a life-changing experience for everyone. Either you've never been there or it's your second or third time. Everything is new. So I'm excited for you. And I'm excited for this new venture, too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Every time I go, it's something different. They're digging. There's always something
It's always
new.
changing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting times. Well, thank you for being on the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having
We're
us.
so honored to serve our Lord together with you.
Yeah.
Yair, will you play a blessing, please, for our people?
אבינו שבשמיים, תודה לך על כל הטוב שאתה עושה. תודה לך על כל האנשים שצופים בנו עכשיו. תודה לך על כל הצופים של TCT. תודה לך על משפחת אלמדה פה, תודה לך על אנה אשתי, תודה לך שאתה בשליטה. אני מתפלל שאתה תברך את הערוץ הזה, שתעזור לנו לשתף את האמת מישראל לעולם. בשם ישוע המשיח. אמן. And I did that in Hebrew, so you're going to have to trust me on that, but...
It was good. Don't worry.
We'll have to get our Google Translate, right?
We'll translate it for you. So thank you again. God bless you. Well, I sure hope that you enjoyed that. It's an encouragement. I also want to let you know that whenever you're in that dark place, whenever you see it as dark, use your faith plan and shine some light in the darkness, because God is there with you. All right after this message, we're going to hear from our correspondent, Yair.
As usual, TCT partners have stepped up in time of need. As missiles rain down, the bomb shelters you helped provide are serving as a safe place for the men, women, and children in Israel. Now we bring to your attention another crucial piece of life-saving equipment needed to save lives in the Jewish state. Magen David Adam handles all ambulance and rescue services in the state of Israel and is funded almost exclusively by donors. They are in need of metacycles that are used as ambulances on 2 wheels that can get life-saving treatment to individuals much faster than traditional rescue vehicles. TCT has committed to providing one of those metacycles, and we invite you to partner with us. Join Christians across the world who stand with TCT as we stand with Israel. Please send your very best love gift to help us provide this desperately needed metacycle to save lives in Israel. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
So, Frank, again, it was really, really good to sit down with you and with Laura Lee at the NRB convention in Nashville, Tennessee, not long ago. It was really nice because I got the option to bring my wife also with me. And it seems like it was a lifetime ago because the world changed. And a few days after we landed back in Israel, another round of the U.S.-Israel war with Iran erupted. Missiles, reports, 24/7, around the clock, of non-stop threats, attacks, dealing with the kids that are at home, not going to school. It was tough. But I think that the Middle East have changed. And what I like about change is that it all comes together according to God's plan, even though we don't see it in the beginning. So sometimes we think that change is only for the bad. It's only for the worse. But God always have a way out. And let me give you an example of that. What's happening now in the Middle East is that the Iranians are not budging. They don't move on any of their issues that started this war. They want to keep the ability to develop nuclear weapons. They don't want to remove the enriched uranium from their soil. They don't want to give up their ballistic missile program. They don't want to stop financing their terrorist organizations all across the region, including Hezbollah in Lebanon that is actively fighting Israel right now. They just want to get the frozen funds that the United States froze as part of the sanctions on the regime, and they want the U.S. to open its blockade on the Iranian ports so that they can keep selling oil and keep developing their economy. But on the ground, the situation is hard for the Iranian people because just now the internet is beginning to come back. And the Iranian public is being exposed to the magnitude of the damage and the destruction that was caused by the first rounds of these strikes, by this war. Infrastructure and command centers of the regime were destroyed completely. And above all, nobody really knows who's leading Iran now. Because Mujtaba Khamenei, the supreme leader, the son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was not seen in public since the initial attack on the opening strike of this war. So who is actually leading this war? It's not sure. And the fear is that radical elements within the Revolutionary Guards are actually controlling all the shots. And they do not want this world to end. They do not want an agreement to be reached. They want the United States and the Ayatollah regime to keep fighting until the U.S. gets bored or until the political situation in the U.S. will change. And that's a fear that Israel cannot deal with, because a bad deal means war in another couple of years, or even less than that, or even worse. A very bad deal means a nuclear bomb in the hands of the Iranians. So this is the situation on the ground. But what we have seen that is positive is that despite the fact that Iran is threatening everybody, including the Gulf states around it, new collaborations are being formed. Yes. And it was revealed just now by the United States ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, that Israel sent sophisticated anti-rocket defensive systems to the Iranian regime, to the United Arab Emirates in defense against the Iranian regime. So in order to protect an Arab state, Israel sent troops and military equipment, the Iron Dome anti-rocket defensive systems. So we are seeing collaborations. We are seeing the potential creation of an anti-Iran coalition that includes the US, Israel, and moderate Arab states. So when Iran is launching attacks, and it just launched another attack against Kuwait, another state in the area, Israel is forming alliances, security alliances, not just economic alliances. And I'm hopeful for the future about that. So Frank, be encouraged. To all our viewers, be encouraged that God is in control despite all the wars, all the attacks, and all the uncertainty. And if He does it in this big scale, He also does it in your lives. So make sure to involve Him, pray, and ask Him to lead your life. Keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem.
Thank you, Yair. Please give a big hug to Anna from myself and Laura Lee, and kiss those little grandbabies of ours, those little redheaded treasures. We just love them. Well, thank you. We do ask you to stay in contact with us on social media and to just get our code and help us to stand up, and let's get this Metacycle purchased and working in Israel. It's been good to be with you. I hope you've enjoyed this two-part series with Yair and Anna. Go back, listen to it again. Put us on your record dial. Listen to Frankly Speaking, because I promise you, I'm going to continue to be frank, because guess what? I can only be frank. God bless you and keep you.